Well, after completing carving the 4 ball and claw feet, which you can see hopefully in the bottom of the video there, it was time to glue up the frame. There really was nothing else to construction wise to do. I need to put on the knee blocks yet here, but I really can't put those on until after it's been glued up. So I dry fitted it again after the ball and claw were carved. It shouldn't have changed, but I did it anyway. And so then the glue up, I don't have any videos of the glue up, but it's somewhat of a complex glue up. So what I did, although I'd used the hide glue, which is has tons of open time, so it really don't have to rush too much, but it's too much to do the whole thing all at once. So I glued the rear legs to the back and made sure it was square and flat. Then I glued the front panel up, so these pieces in here and the top piece were glued to the front legs. So I had a back and a front. So then all that remained to be done was to lay the back on its back and then put glue into the mortises all across the back and put each of these runners into the back, and then glue into the sides into the back, and then put glue on the front edges of all of the tenons that are sticking out, and then slip the front onto it while it's laying on its back. Once it was all assembled, then I could use a dead blow hammer to knock it into place. And then of course I stood it up and then clamped it. And you see it right now with lots of clamps. So that's where it sets. I did glue in 2 of the support runners for the upper case, but I need 1 more on the inside of that to make it thick enough to support the front or the top case, which is going to be offset 1 inch 3/16. It'd be 1 inch 3/16 from the front of here. So you have a piece of molding all the way around there. So that I either can start to work on that waist molding there or the knee blocks, which would be the next thing. Well, I've started to work on the knee blocks here, and as you can see, there it is in the corner. The problem with it is, of course, is that that's a flat surface, and the knee blocks for the real thing is, well, you can see it there, so it's quite curved. So the distance on the flat surface is 2 5/8, and this curve here brings it down to 2 3/4, and coming back this way we're a little over 2 inches. So what I did was take the original pattern and expanded it a little bit with this piece of paper here so that it can be bent along the curve, and I think I have the curve fairly well cut out on there. So if we go back to where we started, the letters here, the E matches the letter here at the top of the post, so I can orient the grain the way the original post was, and place it here like so, and draw the curve along this side. And so I'm going to cut that curve first and then lay this template on there and trace it, and then cut that second. So you'll see some bandsawing here shortly. So cutting out the first curve on the bandsaw here. So I've got the pattern here that I can bend, and it fits right on the face here, and draw a line along it. So there's the second curve, so we'll bandsaw that out now. That's all that's left. I'm going to clean it up. I'll be cleaning it up with a spindle sander. So let's see how the first one fits in here. Well, that's about, it's a little long, but of course this has to be shaped in this corner, so it's better to be long than short, because this I'll use a rasp or a file in there to take out that little bit, and then I'll leave it proud slightly here on the front, so that you can feather it into the side here and have a nice straight line. But otherwise I think that's pretty good shape. So we need a whole bunch more of. Well, I've attached the knee blocks after making them, and it's real hot in the shop today, must be 90, and so the glue, the liquid hide glue, was already running just fine, so I didn't have to heat it. And the glue blocks, I made an extra one here. They're only the knee blocks, rather, not glue blocks, are only glued on one side. You glue them here up against the knee of the leg. You don't glue up here on the top, because this is going to shrink and expand, and probably shrink, because this is probably as wide as the thing is going to get. But on in the winter time, when the things dry out, I can see on some of my older pieces gaps in here, and once upon a time I did glue them, but they came apart anyway. So you don't typically glue them other than to the face.